What's up, everybody? Welcome back to AGR. Mason and I love a good rumor, and if you've been paying attention, there's been rumors of maybe, possibly, a Bioshock 4 in development. So we were like, hey, what should we do with that information?
Let's talk about Bioshock Infinite.
Sounds logical to me. I honestly think this review should be really interesting because you played Bioshock Infinite when it first came out, correct?
I did, yeah.
This was my very first time ever playing Bioshock.
Okay.
I've heard a ton about it, and I came in with preconceptions, which you should probably never do with a video game.
I will say, though, my perception of the game has changed drastically.
From when you first played it
Yes.
to this time?
Oh yeah, definitely. When I was 17 when this game came out, and I remember thinking, oh my god, this is deep.
Yeah.
Now, not so much.
Not so much, really?
Yeah.
I remember hearing all of these things. When it first came out, everyone was like, greatest game, best game of 2013. Yep. I think it was 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So amazing, life-changing. It just makes you think. And then I swear it wasn't like a month later, everyone was changing their minds. Like either they loved it or they hated it. And most of them ended up not liking this game.
Yeah.
So like I said, I've never played it until just now. So I came in just assuming
Now, don't get me wrong. This game still has its fans, obviously. If you're a fan, tell us why you love it.
Yeah. Well, spoiler alert, I'm a huge fan. I absolutely loved this game. Loved it.
Really?
Like, absolutely loved it.
Okay.
I don't know what it was the whole time I played, and we'll dive into each section here in a minute. The whole time I played, I kept, like, thinking, okay, what's going to make this game bad? I was like, because everyone was like, oh, it's a great game, but then they changed their mind or whatever, and I'm like, waiting for the game to get bad, and I was just like, I thought about it actually like towards the end of the game, and I was like, I'm letting other people's opinions dictate my opinion, and my opinion is like I was having a great time. Like I loved this game, so good. I thought.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough.
Let's jump into each individual section of the game, and I think the first one we should talk about is story, because that's mainly what this game is.
So the story is, it always begins with a lighthouse. As soon as you open up the game, you're in a lighthouse, just like Bioshock 1.
Someone who's watching this who hasn't played the game and you're like, oh, it's always about a lighthouse, that may sound confusing. But if you have played the game, it still sounds confusing because the game's about like parallel universes and time travel. And even after you beat it, it's more about the questions that aren't answered to me.
That is true.
Like, and even if you pay attention to everything and read or listen to all the audio logs and stuff like that, you'll still be really confused.
Yeah, you still won't have any idea of what's really going on.
And I remember reading a quote from, it may have been Ken Levine or whatever, whoever made this game, and they said the ending of the game is the beginning of the conversation.
Ooh, that's deep.
Yeah, that's what he was going for on this, and it's true. Like, this game, it incites conversation, and it's hard to talk about it without spoilers, but it's odd. The story is really odd.
It is an odd story.
Yeah. I guess the simple part of the story is you are a guy sent to find a girl to erase your debt.
Yep. That's pretty much the basic story right there.
Yeah, and they don't explain what your debt is or why you're trying to find this girl. You go and...
You go, you find the girl.
Bring the girl, erase the debt.
Yep.
I don't know how many times I heard that exact phrase. Bring the girl, erase the debt. And talking about bring the girl, erase the debt, we can go right into the characters.
All right. So the playable character, his name is Booker DeWitt. He's a veteran, and he's a member of the Pinkerton Detective Agency.
Yeah. I guess we should say this starts in 1912.
Yeah,
so
1912.
He's a veteran of, like, what is it, Wounded Knee?
Wounded Knee,
Yeah.
He's told that his debt will be erased if he goes to Columbia to get the girl.
And the girl is a character named Elizabeth, and she, basically, you don't know the whole time why you're sent to get her. And honestly, really, it kind of explains it, but whatever, that doesn't matter. Elizabeth has special powers.
Yes. She can rip tears into the fabric of time and space.
Yeah. Pretty simply put.
Yeah.
She can do anything from, like, make a tear that goes from one location to another, and the same universe. So like
Yeah.
she can, if she wanted to be in Paris, for instance, she can make a tear and walk through to Paris.
Yeah.
Or she can do things like open up tears to alternate realities in the same exact location. So like, let's say she's sitting right here and she opens a tear, and on our table we have Bioshock, but in her universe she doesn't. She reaches through, she can grab it and pull it to hers.
Yeah.
Like weird things like that. And it opens up all kinds of options, which really helps in combat.
Yeah.
And stuff, because she can like make things appear like weapons and turrets and stuff to help you out. But those are the two main characters.
Yeah. So Comstock is the villain of the story.
Yes.
He's an old religious leader.
The prophet.
He's the prophet. But he's also, I don't know what you want to call him, more of a dictator?
He is. He's like a cult leader.
Yeah, it's more of a cult than really a political body, to be honest. It's a cult.
Yeah, and it never really explains how until the very end, but he knows basically the future.
Yeah.
So he keeps predicting things, so people obviously think he's some sort of god, basically, and they follow him.
Yeah.
And this kind of sets about the enemies for the game, because basically he has set up this whole thing where he knows you're coming to get the girl.
Yeah.
He has told his flock, or whatever you want to call them, that you are the false shepherd, and that when you appear, they basically are to stop you. So you arrive at this floating city in the sky, Columbia, and basically every resident wants to kill you because they think you're going to steal
pretty much
Elizabeth. Which
you are
is
their Antichrist.
You get to her pretty early on, and the rest of it becomes you trying to get her out of the city.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the whole goal, is to get her out of the city.
Yeah, and you would think, oh, that's easy because she could just open up a tear and walk through to somewhere you guys want to be, but they have altered her powers, kind of put a leash on her to where she can't hardly do stuff. She can only do very small things until you know.
There has to be a tear already present for her to
alter it.
Yeah, to alter it.
Yeah. There are other minor characters in the game that end up basically being like boss fights and stuff like that, and I don't think they really need explained.
It would be too hard to explain it, I feel, because you're given some backstory on these minor characters, but because of the whole time travel and going through worlds, their characters completely change. It's honestly really hard to follow unless you're paying attention.
The only other two that I want to mention are the, I think they're twins?
The twins, yeah.
Are they twins?
Yeah.
Okay, they're a brother and sister. They are the creepiest people I've ever met in my life, and I loved them. But yeah, they're awesome. They just pop up randomly and kind of keep the story going along, but you have no idea what they have their own agenda. They're neither good nor bad for most of it.
Let's talk about atmosphere.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah,
that's a huge one for me.
Okay, I'll let you start off then.
I think Columbia is one of the most interesting, well-realized locations. Like I wanted to explore every bit of it and find out. So in almost every modern game, you have some sort of collectible, like, for instance, Elder Scrolls, there'll be books you can read and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This one had, they're basically like cassette tapes. They're voxophones.
Voxophones.
1900. So they're recordings where you can listen to people's, like, that they have recorded of themselves. I wanted to find every single one of them because they were so interesting, and this world was so, like, I don't know. I wanted to know everything I could about this world. If they wrote a companion book, I would absolutely go get it and read it.
I will agree with you on that. To me, I think Ken Levine knows what he's doing when it comes to world building.
Yeah, that's what I say, world building. This is one of the best examples of world building I've ever seen.
I will agree with you on that.
The original Bioshock, probably even better, honestly.
I was about to say, to me, I prefer Bioshock, the first Bioshock, personally, but
it's like
Columbia is still really damn good.
It's like getting a 99 and a 98. They're both A pluses. It's just one's a little bit better. Who cares?
Pretty much.
The whole Bioshock series is great about building worlds, and they did a fantastic job. We talked earlier about the tears. One of the cool things about the tears is they can see into other worlds and stuff. So even though it's set in the 1900s, they have things like you can find tears. For instance, I found one tear that you could hear Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun from the 80s.
Yep.
And then they take things like that and they make their own 1900s version of that song and stuff. So like Columbia is full with pop culture from the future, but they do it a little differently and stuff and put their own take on it. So like people have gotten famous for writing music that they didn't really write.
Yeah.
They just
There's also another example of the song "Fortunate Son."
Oh yeah, I loved that. That was awesome.
That was honestly probably my favorite one.
Yeah, it was like almost like a barbershop rendition of
Yeah.
Fortunate Son. It was so good. But like everything about that kind of thing where they're taking stuff from the future is just really, really cool.
It is really
And they
cool.
do a fantastic job of it.
I'll agree with you on that. However, I will say I didn't find the game as open as the first Bioshock.
You're talking about like level design?
Yeah, honestly, I'm talking more on level design there. But to me, like after playing the first Bioshock and even then going to its more successors like Prey or Dishonored, it didn't feel as open to me, but it's still really damn good.
See, I didn't think that. I thought, like I said, I think the world was amazing and I wanted to explore it, but it was just like, here's point A, here's point B. Like, I did not think the level design was good. That was one of the weakest things for me was, one, there wouldn't be a lot of options of places you could go and you would still get lost. There's a button you hit that puts an arrow on the ground of where you go.
Yeah.
And there was literally one time that I hit the button like 70 times and just kept walking in a circle because I could not figure out what I was supposed to do. It was like an elevator. I had to go in and press the button.
Think that, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I kept walking
think
around the
that's a
damn
glitch.
elevator.
Yeah, I did too. I think it's a glitch. I think it's trying to tell you to go downstairs.
Yeah.
But the point that you're supposed to get to is downstairs, and the game just doesn't realize that.
But the whole game is full of moments like that because you're essentially on a floating city and stuff might be above or below, like streets kind of connect and disconnect from each other and stuff. So there'll be times like you do not know where to go next, even though it's super linear and it's not really a big area. No area is big. The only time you come into it, it has the typical gameplay thing of like walk down a hallway, it gets really big opening and you're like, okay, this is going to be a gunfight.
Yeah.
Like, it does that a lot, too, which was kind of
And something else, it was so obvious whenever you had a bonus objective. Because you knew the area was bigger.
Yeah.
That's how I knew. It was like, okay, what am I missing? Where's the safe? Where's the guy I got to talk to?
There's more than one door. There's going to be a safe at the end of one of them. So if you go one way, or what I always did was I pressed the button to see which way the arrow pointed, and I'd go the other way, get the little bonus thing, and then come back. So I didn't care for the level design at all.
Yeah, to me, it kind of brought down the world just a little bit because it didn't feel as lived in, if that makes sense to me.
You didn't feel as immersed.
Yeah, I felt like I was just progressing through a Doom level, pretty much.
Yeah. See, I was going back to the story. I was so interested in trying to figure out because it's a giant mystery. Honestly, all this game is a mystery. I was so interested in trying to find the mystery. I didn't care that there was like this huge open area for me to explore. I wanted to go to the next part of it, so I didn't let it bring me down very much.
So, Colombia pretty much looks like an ultra America.
Yeah.
It looks, everything is adorned with American flags. There's statues of George Washington, Ben Franklin, literally almost every step you take.
Yeah, that ties back into the voxophone things that you find and stuff like that, because you find out a lot about Colombia, like how it started. And it's essentially like a sovereign state of America that they built to kind of show their dominance. Like, hey, look, we can make a flying city. Yeah. And then this guy kind of hijacked it.
Pretty much.
Turned it into his own thing.
And I think another reason why I think they broke off from America is because I think they wanted to, live in the past. Like, it's still the 1700s.
Yeah.
So women still can't vote. Or women are pretty much second-class citizens.
Yeah.
Slavery seems to still be a thing, or at least very prominent racism, because at the very beginning of the game, you're given a choice. You can either throw a ball at an interracial couple or the racist announcer.
Yeah. There's a bunch of decisions in this game. Do any of them matter?
They don't matter at all.
What about the bird in the cage?
Does not matter at all.
Doesn't matter at all?
It's just cosmetic.
Oh, it was still, the whole time I was like, because I felt like the bird in the cage was like an important decision.
No, it's hyped up like it's going to be an important decision,
but it doesn't change anything.
We can talk about that in gameplay more.
Okay, let's just hop into gameplay.
Okay, fine.
I will just give my thoughts on gameplay. Very average. It was just a very average first-person shooter,
and dated compared to today.
Yes.
The control scheme. The control scheme is just stupid.
Yeah.
So Y or triangle is the melee button. RB is the weapon scroll, which you can only hold two weapons, unlike the last Bioshock.
Yeah, that was aggravating because I don't care about achievements, but like I got into this little groove of trying to complete every little weapon, and then I was like, complete one, and then I can't find the next one that I wanted.
Well, see, that was another issue. I felt like you were better off to stick to whatever 2 guns you liked most.
Mm-hmm.
So
because of the leveling up system.
Yeah, I stuck to the shotgun and the RPG.
I was a hand cannon and shotgun kind of guy.
Now, see, I did like the hand cannon.
Yeah, hand cannon was fun.
I did start playing with that just to get the achievement.
The carbine was so overpowered.
Yeah, the carbine is overpowered.
One thing about gameplay, like you said, the controls are terrible. It took me half the game to stop hitting L2 to zoom in.
Yeah,
like iron sights or whatever. Every modern game ever, L2 is iron sights, and this one it uses your vigors.
Yeah, it's beyond stupid.
Yeah, and you right click in. But anyway, control scheme aside, you can get used to the control scheme, but the actual gameplay itself is just
average. That's really the best way to put it.
Unmemorable or whatever.
Yeah.
The vigors are just you don't even have to use them if you don't want to.
I was about to say you don't have to use them, but I really think that they're plasmids, but they're not plasmids. It's like they forgot that they had to.
It felt like something that was tacked on or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't use 90% of them. I literally, the one that, Bucking Bronco that makes them jump up in the air, if you level it all the way up, you can, like, everyone in a room just raise them up off the ground and shoot them. They'll stay in the air for the whole time.
To be honest, I think the one I used the most was electricity. And that was just because you have to use it to power doors.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
you used it a little bit, but that basically it. Like, I remember in the original Bioshock, they had like story reasons for all that stuff, but in this one, it was just like, here's an extra weapon, and it's kind of our Bioshock thing to have like little magical hand powers.
Something else I didn't like about it is, why don't the enemies use the vigors, other than the boss fights? If these are so widely available, then
that's true too, because they were widely available. I don't know how many times I just found bottles of vigors.
At the beginning of the game, you get the first one for free. The guy's just handing it out at the fair.
Yeah.
So it's like...
And isn't it possession or something?
Yeah, it's possession. So it's like...
oh, here's this ability to control anyone you want or any machine you want.
So why don't the
handing
Vox Populi...
it out and no one uses them.
Yeah. Why don't the Vox Populi just... Whenever they see a cop or guard or whatever, just hit them with it?
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah, just in general, gameplay wasn't that great. Like
it wasn't.
It wasn't, but it wasn't... It didn't necessarily hinder it. It just didn't make the game any better.
Yeah, it's just there.
I will say that the looting in Bioshock was absolutely terrible.
It was just, again, kind of like, it was just there.
It was just there, and it was annoying because, someone's dead, or a dresser, for instance. You come across a dresser, you can hit square to search dresser.
Yep.
If there's stuff in it, it pops up, and you can hit square to take all.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take all of it and whatnot, and there's nothing left in it anymore, then it goes away, basically. But if you don't take all of it, like, let's say you're full on machine gun ammo, and what was inside was machine gun ammo, you still have the option to open the dresser back up.
Yeah.
And all the game becomes is you walking down rows of dressers or corpses or whatever and just clicking square as fast as you can because you're looting everything. And you have no idea what you're picking up.
Pretty much.
You don't know if what you're picking up, like, you basically there's no reason not to pick up everything.
Yeah. It'll help you in some way.
Yeah. It's always either food or ammo or money. And so it's like, there's no reason to like scroll through and actually pick stuff. It's like, oh, I want to take this. I don't want to take this. So you're just mashing square. And then it gets really aggravating when it's like something you're full on and you don't realize that you're just hitting the same corpse over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. The game basically becomes one long escort mission, but without the flaws of an escort mission. It's not aggravating her tagging along. Yeah. Like, you don't have to protect her. She can't get hurt. She's honestly more powerful than you, but she just doesn't really use any of her powers. But the thing that kills me is the whole first half of the game. Elizabeth is like, you're a terrible person. You're killing this guy. You're killing these people. Yeah. You're using guns. You're doing this. Mr. DeWitt, you're awful. And every time I get into a gunfight, she's tossing me ammo and she's tossing me weapons. She's like, you're a piece of crap. Here's a gun. Like, shoot this dude. Like, lady, if I wasn't shooting people right now, we'd be dead.
Oh, hey, you need help? There's a missile turret.
Yeah.
Put it
Oh,
up.
also that and she's making turrets and stuff appear out of the air to kill a bunch of people, and then immediately turning around and telling me story wise how I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
So everything we've talked about, what would be your final thoughts, and how would you rate this game?
It's above average, for sure. But I will say it doesn't leave you feeling complete.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to know more as you're finishing the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you're never going to get those answers because there's never going to be a sequel. So with that said, I'll give it an 8 tears in time out of 10.
An 8 tears in time out of 10.
Yeah.
I liked it significantly more than you. I've went back and forth. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. There were some definite negatives. Like you said, the story doesn't really have a resolution. But when it comes down to it, like, I try to base my score off of what I would word say,
Mhm.
and my word review simply would be, this is a must-play game. I think you absolutely need to experience this, whether or not it's good and makes you feel good at the end or any of that. I feel like you must play it. So
To be honest, I do feel like you have to play it in order to experience.
this is something you have to experience. I think.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that.
If you are a gamer or you enjoy games in the least bit, you need to experience this game.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like the name says, we're just amateurs, so our opinions really don't matter more than yours does.
You don't have to listen to us at all.
Yeah, you really don't. I don't listen to us. I post this and then
I text him things and he just goes, oh.
Sometimes I don't even.
Yeah, sometimes I don't even get to know.
But let us know what you think down in the comments below. Leave us your mini review. Let us know why you like the game or why you didn't like the game. And if you enjoy what we're doing here, consider supporting us. And by that, I mean hitting like, hitting subscribe.
Follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter, that kind of thing. Instagram. All of our links and stuff will be below. We're out there. We're on the Google. So
we're also on the Yahoo. Maybe the Bing. We're not too sure yet.
Yeah, we are not on Ask Jeeves.